Hi everyone, I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to our CKPG News Canada Day special, where I had the chance to go visit the beautiful Fort St. James National Historic Site. Now, this place has a rich history and it relates to the history of Canada. It has the largest collection of log buildings representing the fur trade. We have a great show planned today. We've got a ton of great guests, some wonderful activities, and we're going to learn a little bit about the history of this place and how it helped form what we know as Canada today. It's going to be a great show, so let's get right to it. I'm here with Lyle Penner, who runs the trading store here at the Fort St. James National Historic Site. And Lyle, you know, this place has a huge significance to the history of what we know as Canada today. Going back to the early 1800s, it was one of the first fur trading posts, correct? Mm-hmm. This side of the Rockies. Can you just tell me about the history of this place and how everything kind of got started?
Yes. In 1805, they crossed the Rockies to the interior, and they were probably some of the first Europeans that came into this interior. The Russians had been training on the coast, but as far as into the interior came the Northwest Company, which was actually a competition to the Hudson's Bay Company. They were leapfrogging in front to try to get more fur and other places. And so that was a big deal in the world. Furs, coats, fashion, it was a big, big deal. So a lot of big investors in Europe and a lot of people who were trying to become entrepreneurs came to Canada in the same way you could compare it to gold rush. It was the fur rush.
Right.
Yeah.
And it played a huge role in, creating kind of what we know today as currency, right?
It is. Today, if you look on the Canadian nickel, you'll see a beaver.
Right.
Well, some of that dates back actually to the time where the currency were pelts in some of these stores. Now, the First Nations people had been trading furs with each other and to the coast, and they've been trickling out into other regions. So they had been trading with each other for thousands of years. So fur trade was nothing new to them. Mm-hmm. What was new is Europeans coming here and establishing posts with other items that they wanted to trade for or came here to trade for. And the currency was the pelt. And so they'd come in and the pelts would be looked at for quality.
Right.
See, they left too much fat on that, but see, that one's nice and clean.
Yeah, this one's nice and
so quality
smooth.
Was a deal. Those were small pelts. But let's say if you came in with a winter coyote, we would translate this into a common currency, the beaver.
Right.
So we'd ask, how many beaver is this worth? So we'd say, maybe we'd establish, depending on the price of the fur that year, because of fashion and other things in the world, let's say this was worth 5 beaver. So now you have 5 beaver, 2 that were small. Let's say you give you 1. Now you have 6 beaver.
All for just a fox.
Well, sometimes that coyote, for instance.
Oh, coyote.
Yeah,
excuse me.
Yeah, and the fox is here.
Oh, there's
right?
the fox. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was fashion going on in the world. It was warmth, and it was that we're used to fiber-filled coats, but at a certain time in history, the warmest thing by far that you could get was a fur coat.
Right.
And it was also something that people were wearing out here for warmth. But also what was going on is before, as they trapped, it was a way of life for the people around here because they were getting food, tools, and medicine from all of these animals as well. Mm-hmm. So before they came in to trade, it wasn't just a fur trade to the people in the area. It was all of life was kind of centered around the animals in the area, the trapping in the area, and their gathering, hunting and gathering. So at first, the trappers or the Northwest Company that came here were completely dependent on the First Nations people for the food at this site. And so they were actually trading some of their goods away just to get salmon to eat here.
Right, right.
So it was a real reciprocal thing going on and trade that started here.
And just going back to sort of this place and its relevance to the history of Canada and what we know as Canada today. What's your favorite part about teaching people that come into this historic site and want to learn about this kind of stuff? What's maybe the best question that you get, or what's your favorite thing to teach people?
Well, one of it is that the people around the lake, the First Nations people around the lake, were the trappers that brought in this commerce here. They had been doing this for thousands of years. We locked into something that was happening already. But to me, some fun facts that we're not used to is this is food. So still yet today, some of the people that live a more traditional life, or even those who are tasting and hunting, they're actually hunting the beaver for food around the lake, and bear and some of these other animals. So some of those unique things, that this was a whole life for people with the food and the salmon. And the salmon were an integral part to the survival of the people here, and also to the people at the fort that the First Nations people were feeding. And as time went on, they tried to establish gardens here and brought in dairy, a couple dairy cows and some chickens to probably remind themselves of some of the food they had prior to coming here. But it was all part of broadening, because food was an important thing. Can't eat,
Right, yeah.
What's the point? If you can't be here and eat, then you're done.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you know what, Lyle? I really appreciate you teaching me all about the fur trade and the history of the fur trade. I hope you sell a lot of beaver pelts today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Coming up next, it's chicken race time as we check out the main source of entertainment here on the site. I am here, this is going to be my favorite part of the day, at the chicken race. The world famous chicken race is the main source of entertainment here at the Fort St. James Historical Site. I have my bet placed on Shadowfax, as you can see. Hopefully she wins the race. It's just about to start. I cannot wait for this. This is going to be super fun.
In lane 3, we have chicken nuggets! The even tastier, we have chicken fingers! And visiting us all the way from India, we have butter chicken!
Okay, so it looks like things are about to start here. We're just waiting for the big race. As you can see, there's a lot of people here for this chicken race. Man, quite the turnout. So we're hoping for Shadowfax here. Let's go Shadowfax. I'm actually a little nervous for this.
Tell me you're running fast. I'm half crazy, hoping you won't come last. It's going to be world-class racing with cheers and wild embracing.
In lane 2, we have Attila the hen.
2, 1. Come on, Shadowfax. Go, Shadowfax. Come on, buddy. Go, 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 go. Oh, oh. So close. So close. Shadowfax just missed that by, an inch. I wanted to interview Shadowfax about the big race, but athletes, sometimes they're in their zone. Okay, so I'm here with Nicole now, the wonderful MC, as you just heard, for the awesome chicken race. I almost won my race, so close. Shadowfax just missed, but Nicole, that was great. First of all, why do you guys do this chicken race? It kind of represents what was a form of entertainment back in the early 1800s, right?
In 1896, they used to run horses during Dominion Day,
Okay.
and unfortunately, we don't have the space to run horses, so our boss opted to do chicken races, because at the time, A.C. Murray actually betted with Joseph Prince, who was here in 1896, and betted that his horse would win. So
it represents how how entertain. What
Yes,
was entertainment,
yes.
back in the early days? Wow, that's
Yes.
great. And you know, on this Canada Day, we have chickens.
Yes.
Awesome. And it seems like the kids really love it.
Yes,
This is
they
really
do.
one of the big attractions of this site, right?
At most days, we do have like 500 on special day events, 500 to 600 people in this
Wow.
section.
And
yeah.
it's super.
Yes.
Tons of energy
Yes,
around
yes.
here. I would seriously recommend coming and checking out these chicken races. Nicole, you love what you do.
Yes.
Like you love working here.
Yes.
What's so special about working on the site?
Working on the site, interacting with our visitors
Yeah.
is the best thing. That's what I'm here for. I've been here for quite some time, and I love interacting with the visitors.
And
so-
teaching about the history,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Awesome. Well, you do a great job. Like I said,
Yes.
I'm going to win my next chicken race.
We hope so.
Nicole, thanks so much for
You're
this.
very welcome.
Coming up after this next break, we take a look into some behind-the-scenes aspects of the site, including the wonderful cafe. So I couldn't come out to this historic site without checking out the Homestretch Diner. I've been told the food here is great. This is the place to come and get a bite to eat if you're visiting this site. I'm here with Paige, who works in the kitchen. Paige, as I can see here, some pretty delicious stuff you guys are serving up. You want to tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so basically over here we have our homemade strawberry rhubarb pie. The rhubarb we get just from the garden over there.
Nice.
And then we make the pie dough and everything. We just made this one this morning. And then over here we have banana chocolate chip muffins, and then homemade banana bread and chocolate chip cookies.
Nice. And I mean, look, I'm trying to stay away from the sweets. There's other stuff you guys have as well, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you want, I can show you.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go back in a minute and cook something. I mean, obviously the menu's changed a little bit from the early 1800s, right? We're not cooking any beaver,
Nothing too crazy.
no dried salmon, nothing like that. How popular is this place?
I would say it's pretty popular. There's not a lot of restaurants to eat at in Port St. James, so it's kind of nice that we have the option to open this place in the summer, and people seem to really like it, and food's really good. We have all fresh bread and everything for all the sandwiches, and with the soup and the burgers. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty popular.
Do you find the kids like it? I know there's a lot of kids that like to come out and visit this site. Do you find that the kids really like it?
Yeah, I do. I find that they're a big fan of the homemade ice cream.
Oh, homemade ice cream.
Yeah, we also make homemade ice cream and lots of the cookies and that kind of stuff, brownies too. Yeah.
Nice. And I mean, yeah, I'd love to see how the kitchen works. Do you want to maybe head back there and show me how to make something?
Yeah, for sure. I can show you how to make a chicken burger.
A chicken burger.
Yes.
So, and no cooked beaver.
No.
Okay. All right, let's do it. All right, so we saw the sweets earlier. We're gonna do a little bit of the savory side of things now. Paige just whipped up a little mini chicken burger. There's a bigger size of this.
Yes,
But
there is.
I'm just trying the mini one today. You know, gotta watch my weight as we move into the summer. Would you say this is one of the more popular items on the menu?
Yeah, I would say that the chicken burgers are probably our most popular item on the menu.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else that people really like to order?
Another really popular one, a lot of people don't know what it is at first. It's Spätzle. It's like a Swiss kind of cheesy pasta
Ooh.
with asparagus, carrots, mushrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if you're visiting the site, the Spätzle,
Yeah.
go for that one. But,
Probably my favorite.
nice. Okay, well, so the chicken burger today, though.
Yeah.
Let's build this thing. I'm hungry.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's pretty simple. You start with the chicken
Yeah.
and get some fixings on there. Nice, simple dish.
You want to put some mayo?
Nice. I am hungry already.
No, it's not gonna be good. So a little bit of mayonnaise.
Nice. Okay. A little bit of ketchup there, too. And you guys must be around lunchtime pretty busy.
Yeah, we get really busy after the chicken races.
After the chicken race, right? And we actually just saw one of the chicken races. It was a ton of fun, and yeah, I can imagine people being a little hungry after all that excitement. So, all right, some toppings there.
So pickles, onions,
Perfect.
a little bit of tomatoes,
Okay,
and that's pretty much it.
let's build this thing. Okay. I feel like I'm like on a cooking show right now. I'm Gordon Ramsay. Wow, beautiful. That looks so good.
One more thing we add are some roasted potatoes.
Look at that.
So we've got hand cut Caesar.
Let's get some of those on there. I am so hungry, Paige.
And the last thing that we do is a little bit of parsley
Wow,
and green onion.
that looks amazing. Let me get it so
Chicken burger.
everybody can see there. Oh, don't want to spill it. How about that? Look at that. And I'm going to do a nice little taste test here, if you don't mind.
Of course.
All right, let's see. Paige, you are my hero. This is amazing. You got to try this. So good. Man, that is really, really delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting me try that. Now, one thing.
Yeah.
That homemade ice cream has been on my mind.
Okay.
I have a little spoon somewhere,
Okay.
and I see a little bowl.
Go ahead.
Can I try a little bit of ice cream too? I have to try the homemade ice cream. Let's take a look at this real quick. And this is the
Berry.
berry ice cream. All right, another taste test. Oh, that is delicious. You got to come here and try this stuff. Paige, thank you very much.
course.
You are evil for letting me try this ice cream. It's time for another break, but when we return, we'll learn about the history of some of these beautiful log buildings and the importance of their preservation. I'm here now with Lacey Martin. She's got one of the most important jobs here at the site. You're in charge of maintenance of these historical log buildings.
Yes, I am.
Now, talk about why the maintenance and preservation of these buildings is so important.
Well, Eddie, some of these buildings are hundreds of years old. So maintaining the buildings, the logs, the site itself is helping preserve the history of the fur trade here in Canada, Fort St. James, BC. So it's a pretty interesting job. I do a wide spectrum of things like grounds care, building care, making sure the buildings are staying level, the logs are intact. Also animal care. We have a bunch of animals on site here, so we get to be all in that. Yeah, it's a very interesting job. I've learned so much. I've learned how to build, but also maintain fire systems, which is a huge part of this site as well. We're at risk every year for forest fires. So maintaining the site and the area around the site is a really important job.
And, you know, I mean, obviously we're learning about why this site is so important to the history of Canada, but these buildings are obviously a huge part of that. You mentioned it's one of the first sort of hubs of fur trade, right?
Yes, it definitely is. So some of our buildings on site, like I said, are a couple of years old. And if you go in them, there's history around them that date back to just after 1906 when the site was founded. And you can actually see signatures from 1806 when there's like 1820 signatures in some of the top of the buildings. And it's really incredible, a really cool piece of history.
And that must be really important to preserve, right?
Oh, definitely, yes. Like we have some of the oldest sites. So, I mean, if something were to happen to any of these buildings, it would be like a huge loss for Canada in the history.
Right.
There's people that come from all over the world to see this site. So it's really interesting, really cool.
Now, some of the insides of the buildings, I've noticed it's all very accurate. Like, how do you keep that? How do you like maintain all of that and make sure everything is perfect? It must be a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, yeah. But we have a great team, whether it's maintenance, our finance people, all of our interpreters. Everyone does a piece of looking into the past to make sure things are accurate. We actually have furniture that's from back in the day as well. We get calls all the time for people that have like suits and jackets and like pieces of leather even that come from this site from hundreds of years ago that have been passed down in the family, and this family's like, wow, this is so important. We want to donate it to you guys. So with all the artifacts is a very key piece to keeping this site historic.
So we saw a couple of the buildings. We saw the trading store, which is great. What are some, can you tell me about some of the other interesting buildings around that people can check out?
Yeah, one building here. This is where a very important Murray family lived.
Okay.
A few other key buildings are something that we call the men's house or the guest house. It's where people that worked on the site doing the trading stayed. The fish cache where they would dry meat and fish. That's that really tall building. It's actually one of the first buildings here, as well as the fur house.
Right.
And that's where all of the furs are stored. Now, unfortunately, we don't have old furs because they degrade over time. But we like to try to keep our inventory updated so people can see what people trapped around here and or traded here.
Now, what's your favorite part about seeing visitors come and learn about this and this little hidden sort of gem? And because you guys see people from all over the world, right?
Yeah, we totally do. And I think when you think of the Hudson's Bay Company, you think of this big box store, which this was one of the original places for the Hudson's Bay Company. So seeing the old historic blankets and that kind of stuff and the clothes that people wore and what they actually did here and how they used this giant lake as transportation and all the different pack trails and all the different resources they had when they didn't have much back then to use all this kind of stuff and keep a little piece of history here. It's a little hidden gem.
No, it is, and like I've been saying, it's such a huge part of Canadian history. Just quickly, what's your favorite building on site here?
Ooh, my favorite building. Probably the fur warehouse. It's one of the oldest buildings. That's the building I was telling you that has the signatures upstairs. Now people don't go upstairs anymore, but yeah, like the 1820s, there's signatures from back then. And you just think like all of the families and people that have lived here and worked here and stayed here and visited here and worked on these buildings. And you can see stuff from 200 years ago. It's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been having so much fun today exploring this awesome site and seeing how people lived back then. And so again, like I said, the accuracy is amazing, and the preservation that you guys have been able to do, you guys do an amazing job. It's really, really a cool spot, and I would totally recommend coming here any day if you want to see a really, really interesting part of Canadian history. And you do an awesome job, Lacey. Continue what you're doing.
Thank you.
I know it must be tough, but preserving these buildings, one amazing thing. And that wraps up our show for our Canada Day special. I had a great time at the Fort St. James National Historic Site, learning all about the history. The chicken race was a highlight, although Shadowfax kind of let me down a little bit. But I would seriously recommend going to visit this place. It's a wonderful little slice of Canadian history. Once again, thanks for joining us today. And from all of us at CKPG News, happy Canada Day. We'll see you next time.